Hello, everyone. Happy Veterans Day and happy 11/11 portal. I'm going to wait until a couple of people come on. If not, that's fine. You can always watch this on Instant Replay. Hey, hi, Jupiter 1111, the hostess with the mostest. Yes, I said, let me get up here, get myself started, get all set up. Hello, who else is on there? I'm talking to you live. Who else is on the call? Yes, great to see you too. Who else is on the call? Who else is on the line? Oh, it was one, it's two. That's fine. No problem. Whoever shows up, they're here to get these goodies. I wasn't going to do it the live setup this time because every time I do it, we have this so-called interference. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do it this time. Hello, everyone. Hi. Happy Veterans Day to those of you who served and know people who have served. Got my 11/11 shirt on, so I'm ready for this portal as well. Lots of getting prepared and get ready for some good stuff to start happening with this new. To start the live chat so I can see who else there. Hey, Vanessa. How's it going? Got my sister's namesake there. All righty then. 1 minute 36. Let me just kind of get settled. Let me see what I want to do today. Cover as far as cards. Hey! Hey, Shasha! Hey! Okay, this little piece here is trying to bother me. Yay! If we get even 11, I'll be ready too. To start. Let me see. While I'm talking, what did I want? I know I said I wanted these cards. Let's see if I could put the mic. Are you going to be able to hang that? Is that going to cause a problem? That's going to cause a problem. That's what I thought. Let me see. Can I put you over here? And it'll be less of an issue. Okay, there we go. We put you there. All right, we building steam and momentum. We're building steam and momentum. Okie dokie. What else do I want to do? I'm trying to see. The things. Surrender. Get my box out here. How does it affect this here? Love. Okay, the shadow. Where my shadows at? Okay. Gotcha. I think that's pretty much what I want to kind of cover. What does the inner child want to say to us? Okay, I think that is it. Wisdom, that's out of order. That's okay. This. Clarified. That's that one. Where's your clarifier? Okay, there's that. Okay. We're going to get started in 2 minutes. Feel like Ginger. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okie dokie. Let me get myself set up. Turn them on. Ooh. Sorry, you got to see the back of my lappy top. Oh, I need to put this on. I forgot last time I did have you on. Are you set? Let's see. Oh, I didn't bring the thing down, so I'm going to have to talk loud. I forgot to bring that down. I didn't bring that down. Okay. But my mouth is loud anyway. So that doesn't make a difference. All right. We're on the move. Let me adjust this. Okay. You don't want to be plugged in today. I can see this already. All right. Getting it settled in. Okay, last time when we had talked, we talked about judgments and attacks. We had a lot of breakthroughs that had happened, even with myself. I went and I got myself even some counseling with Kathy D as well, because I felt that after that, it really had opened up a dam of issues that I didn't really know that I had. And that looked like that probably was pretty much the dark space that Sophia Charles was talking about when she had read me. They said that I was, that I had a spot that where it had like negativity from childhood, but she couldn't really pinpoint as to what it exactly was. And so that judgment attacks, we're talking about being parents being very critical. It led me to also do a journey as far as the universe leading me to, there go Kathy D, leading me to also understanding it was pretty much a what you call it, a webinar series called Narcissist, Understanding the Narcissist, which is this 10-day series. I posted that on the community tab as well. Had really good speakers on there. They talked about it as far as yesterday's topic was, how did having a narcissistic parent or narcissistic person help you spiritually. And they were talking about how having that also helps you to awaken you within. And you know, as we know in this twin flame journey, we pick our parents, we choose this journey, we choose the people that we have as our tools and resources to help us to really awaken into that divinity that's within us. And so I found it very interesting that saying, you know, that even though us going through these inner childhood wounds that we're healing and pretty much seeing things coming up, and we're saying it ourselves, you know, did I do that? Did I pick that? Oh my God. And so, you know, it's a reason, it's a rhyme and a reason for everything. I know it's very dark. I think I said that, I talked about that in my reading for this week of how that one, it has the flowers coming out the chest, and how even out of something ugly, there's still love and beauty in there. And because of us experience this inner childhood wounds that we have, that's the site, that's another one, go small. This is the site that you could go, and it's not, nothing happens by accident. This is a site in which I'll be referencing and using for today's things, because a lot of the issues that is coming up, especially like domination and the guilt, it wasn't too much research on it, and it pretty much was piggyback and sounding like others. However, what it is I'm seeing through this program is going through like another, I would say like a diamond, another aspect of that. So to me, this is really still a continuation of what we talked about last week's topic again. And so judgment and attacks. And so this is it in another form. This is the site that I kind of go on. I don't know you can see it because it's hard for you to see it. But the self-therapy journey is very good. That's another way of a site that you could go on to be able to do healings on your, if you want to do counseling on your own. But as we go through today's topic, we'll kind of really see how that there is a point in which you're going to really have to seek out professional help in trying to do this, because it's some things that they're saying, some steps that you can do for today's topic, but then it seemed like you really needed to have somebody to really help you to pull out some of those things from a perspective of somebody who's non-judgmental, or you saying, no, I don't want to go through that, I'm scared. And so this person is a person that's really like non-biased, non-judgmental, and can really go in there and pull these things out of you. So today's topic is healing the inner child, domination, and guilt. Remember, when I'm in this, I won't be too much talking into going back and forth with you all. That's why I have my moderators there. Jupiter 1111 is there to moderate, the hostess with the mostest. And any questions that you have, I know Kathy D said she would be on there as well. So if you got any kind of things that you want to tackle and talk about from a actual cognitive, a psychological expert slant, she's there as well to help. So today's topic is, again, domination and guilt. We already covered exploitation. We talked about abandonment. We talked about attack and judgment. last week, and now we're on Domination and Guilt. And our last one for December, we'll wrap up, will be Rejection, which almost rejection and abandonment is pretty much kind of hand in hand. This is the self quiz. When you get the packet, go on there for today's thing for 11/11. I give you also the actual website for you to be able to go on there and to take the test, because it'll be able to tell you about all the different aspects of healings and wounds that you have, childhood wounds that you have, and it will rank it from the most to the one that you have the most, all the way down to the ones that you have the least or there's not present. That's how I came about with this workshop, because I ranked the ones from the highest, from the ones I had the most, until all the way down to the ones that they say I don't have anymore. On next December, I'll go through the rest of the other ones as well, that what are some other childhood wounds that you can also have that I have not covered. So this is a really good site for you to at least get a starting point as to. So if you get a reading from Sophia Charles and she says, okay, I see this, this, and this, you can go and get this assessment to go in there and specifically pinpoint according to your questionnaires. It's kind of long. I think it's maybe like 90 questions. It's quite lengthy. It might not. It's lengthy. It was long to me. Heck. And take an assessment and kind of give you a real good pinpoint as to the areas that you need to really give some more attention to. Okay, some housekeeping. This is a safe space. Keep questions limited to the topic of the day. Please share and talk in the Sunshine Lounge with each other. Let's keep the energy flowing and uplift one another. If you would like to pour energetically into what I do, remember that you have here as well. They have on there for the PayPal. You have the link where you can do that if you want to do that. Then I have my PayPal me, which is Divine Twin Souls 11. And then Cash App is $ Divine Sunshine 11. The online workbook of today's presentation will be available on divineunisols.co for $11.11. I will later on be releasing Killing the Inner Child package. That's all of these topics that I just went over and told you about, containing all 5 sessions along with an activity book. That's what I usually read off of and pull information from with you all, and meditations, and that will be available for $33 until November the 29th, and then afterwards it will be $60. I am currently in the works of creating another package called the Playground, and I think Spirit led me this morning, said call another package called the Sandbox, which will be the gym package, and along with the healing, all of the workbooks from these 5, the activity books from this session, Healing the Inner Child. Along with that, I'll come up with the pricing for that, but it'll be the gym and that together. And then I have the Playground, which will be all of the 5 all the workbooks, activity workbooks, and also a reading from me to specifically pinpoint and see how is it affecting you on your journey, and then also a counseling session with Kathy D, and then also a energy clearing, because after you do all that stuff, energy clearing with April Williams, which I told you I like her doing her way of clearing, because she helps you to stay grounded and in touch with the earth, like Mother Gaia. A lot of times we're always thinking about the ethereal and the higher realms and spirituality of doing that, but then we also have to make sure that we are grounded with where we are, because a lot of times, especially when we're having these inner childhood wounds, we have a tendency to want to escape and not be here in the 3D, present in the 3D, because of those things. And I think that adding that as another layer onto the package, and the way how she does things to help you understand and get in touch with your goddess, being in touch with your body, being present in your body, honoring your body, doing things and rituals with your body. And then those things are very helpful to help you stay present, because that's a lot of times, like I say, we stay in the spirit, but we forget about staying present. with that. So I'll give you more details about that, because we're going to meet today or sometime this week to kind of finalize that. So that's another thing, a way of helping you, because Sophia Charles has this new package out now with the inner child. She has a person, David. And her and him could do so much. Spirit led me to say that also, with the overflow of things, are trying to really help you all really heal these inner child and really kind of get ready for the 2020 of living the vision. We've got to really get serious. Like Tim Green, I seen he did on Discord, said we got to stop being passive at this point. We got to really get to the point that we've got to be active as far as making that change within our lives. Okay. All right, let's go next one. All right, so what is domination wound? I didn't know what this was either until I looked it up and seen. So most of the time, people who have domination wounds, this is the things that they pretty much say. I was dominated and in control, and now I allow people to control me. Or they're either saying, I am afraid of that happening again. Okay, so it's like, you think about Mama Medea. Say, I'm going to get you before I get got. And she always talking about, I'm going to get my peace. And she ain't talking about like peace and doing namaste and meditate. She talking about she going in her purse to go get her gun. So she will be a person that you would say that pretty much has been affected by a domination wound as a child. So if you had the domination wound, it is because you were controlled or dominated as a child. This made you feel that you were at the mercy of the parent who controlled you. They may have been a strict disciplinarian, or they may have been overprotective, or they might have made not allowed you to make any decisions. Like, no, that's all right, baby. I make all the decisions for you. You too young. You don't know any better. You know, no, that's not the right boyfriend for you. You know, let me pick the person who's going to be for you. Or no, you're not going into to be a teacher. You're going to be a doctor, because everybody in the life has been a doctor, in our family has been a doctor. So those things there. And pretty much they kind of lock you into seeing yourself at a specific time period, and you don't go beyond that. I know when I did session with Kathy D, she had brought that up like a lot of times. Parents treat you, if they're like narcissistic, and this person, probably their parent treated them, is continuously treating them at the age that they believe they stopped growing. And I was like, oh my God. So maybe at age 9 or something like that, they felt like you was trying to get kind of out of control. And so at age 9, they're always, you say, well, hell, I'm 48 right now. How the heck you still see me at age 9? But that's where they got you locked, stopped, and stepped. So that's what they see. So the parent may have rewarded you only when you did what they wanted you to do. They punished you when you tried to get some autonomy. Like, nah, I'm going to stand up for myself. Nah, I don't want to go with that boy. You know, I don't want to. He ain't the one for me. I want to go with my DM, or I want to go with my DF. So they constantly made you feel like you were slaved, and you pretty much felt like you weren't valued as a child. So what needs to be healed if you have this domination kind of thing? So you need to heal not allowing people to control you. And so also you need to heal not being afraid of being controlled. Okay. So again, it's you living and don't nobody know it, but your creed is Mama Medea's thing. I'm going to get you before I get got. Okay. That's the creed. So some of the patterns that are associated with the domination wound is most people who need to heal emotional wounds have a problematic pattern. Okay, so with this one in the domination thing, you have expression of wound. This is expressed by you having a dependency pattern. You're always dependent on other people. You feel like you have an unmet need because of you being deprived as a child. And so you have this dependency, this codependent. Okay, that's where that comes out from. Oh, sorry. I forgot he touched screen. Okay, go back. Did I do too many? Sure did. Yeah, go back. I forgot he's touch screen. Don't touch him. Okay, so that's one thing. What triggers the wound is the pattern that triggers it is that you have this inner critic all the time. And it can be triggered by something that's happened like shame or judgment as well. And so you kind of, these things, when you hear somebody kind of criticizing you, you pretty much beating yourself up because of that. It kind of makes you do a flashback as to your mom when she was getting on you. And then you have a defense against the wound. So a way of how that shows up is that you have this foggy pattern. And foggy pattern means that you have a tendency that you want to space out or become confused. Like, I don't understand what's going on, you know. And so that's the way to kind of diffuse the situation of you being dominated as well. And then you have this protection from being wounded, which is you have this rebel pattern. So, you know, you're like, again, the Medea thing. I'm going to get you before I get got thing. So before they even thinking about it, it's like, nope, I ain't going to do this today. Nope, I ain't going to do. You're like, well, what's happening? Okay, well, today we're going to go for lunch at Buffalo Wild Wings. You're like, I don't have a taste for Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm going to go to some other place. I'm going to go to Subway. You know, just rebelling just to rebel, but you really want to be a part of the group. But it's just that I just don't want to go along with everybody else. No, I'm just going to say it's a rebel with no cause. I'm just going to say no just to say no because I feel like it. Okay. Another thing, this pattern can show up as in, so the domination pattern also can show up as in people pleasing. So, okay, I got to check that. So if you have a tendency to go out of your way to please people, you often try to be who other people want you to be, to agree with them, to fit in. You try to make yourself think, feel, and want the same things as others, even if this doesn't reflect your true feelings. Why? Because you've been pretty much set and patterned that way from your parents or whoever it is that's been your person who is child reared you. You used to them as like, you know, like Coming to American, whatever you like, whatever you say, you know, and they beat you into that, to submission, until it's like, I don't really trust my own thoughts. I don't really trust my feelings. I don't really trust that what I think it has value. And so this shows up in this way as far as people pleasing, because you're going off of the template that your parent has. So if you are in a relationship, part of you may be trying to merge with your partner to feel and believe the same as they do. And you might even defer to their preferences, their values, their goals, without quite realizing you are doing it. So, you know, it's like, yeah, I like, you probably say in the beginning, I never did like McDonald's. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, or it's something that they like, let me see, it's something. But that wouldn't have showed up with that. But sometimes you'll find yourself like you like watching shows or doing things habitually that your partner had liked to do, and you're like, I really didn't like doing that. I ain't never, okay, I don't know why I'm taking it there, but you might be saying, well, I ain't like doing S&M, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, he likes it, so I guess I like it. But something within you feel like, I don't like this, because this kind of really reminded me again with the domination with my mom or father or over-rearing again. But some about it I'm familiarized with it. So yes, I like this type of doing this type of sexual act or participating in S&M kind of things, because it's back to that domination kind of thing. Okay. If you freaking find yourself this period, even on the job, agreeing to things, you don't have your own thought process when you're in the workplace. It's like, okay, yeah, well, what do you think, Divine Sunshine? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And you know, each time they come to you and they throw it to you, you don't have really any other kind of, you know, other things that you bring into the table. So they're like, okay, well, what you think? Yeah, well, you know, that sounds pretty good. I don't see anything wrong or fault with what was just said there. And you know, after a while, people are kind of like looking at you as like, okay, they really not, all you're doing is right now, as they say, is following the herd. So you also might go far out of your way to give people what you think they need to make them happy, especially when you do this without even considering what would make you happy, or when you try to please others at your own expense. So maybe you might even find yourself buying things for people, like I know it used to be, I used to kind of be that way. Even on the job, we used to have at Christmas time we would give presents out to people on our team, our colleagues. And I remember one year it got to the point, it's like I was always, I didn't have that much, especially teaching. I was starting out, but I was like, oh, I just want to kind of really do this because it seems like, it's right. This is show appreciation for people on my team. I was going there, getting things and buying gifts for my team. And I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. And I'm like, okay, I'm buying these things and I'm looking around at them. They ain't give me nothing back in exchange. And I'm like, okay. All right. So I kind of kept on doing it for a couple of years because, my kind of pretty much instilled that in me, give out to give in. Christmas isn't about that. It's just about the giving. But then after a while, I wasn't seeing them like wearing the stuff. I was giving them nice gifts. I said, they ain't wearing them. They ain't doing nothing like that. And so then after a while, I was just like, the hell with this. I ain't doing this no more. This is people pleasing. I understand about the thing you're giving, but you can tell within yourself, it's like something ain't right. Like, am I doing this to buy love? Am I doing this to buy attention from people? Am I doing this because, I want something in return? And then, it started to get to the point I was like, okay, if we doing it because we want some kind of in return, we got to stop doing this. So you've got to kind of get to that point also that you feel that when it comes to that people pleasing thing, which is a form of domination, because your parent is pretty much dead set into you that your values or what you want doesn't matter, that you pretty much please others. It's almost like you're saying again, I don't feel like I'm enough. So some things that you have to deal with as far as when we talk about this domination is this assertive capacity. So you need to practice assertiveness, which involves having a firm knowledge of what you feel, think, and desire. And it opposes what you've been influenced to as far as what people's opinions, their feelings. Okay, I did my thing. And needs is part of being autonomous adult. And so that's what you haven't did, because in some ways, like the parents stopped seeing you as an adult or you being able to have an opinion, you also have stopped seeing yourself. You stopped growing as well within. So assertiveness involves exerting power to ask what you want, explain why something is important to you, and follow through even if others don't go along right away. You can bring up difficult issues with people in order to try to improve your relationship with them. You can stand up for yourself, set limits on people when they are harming you in some way. You can say no when someone asks you for something you don't want to give. And that goes back to understanding that no is a full sentence. You don't need to follow it up with anything behind it. And you really actually don't want to follow it up with anything, because that gives you, I know, even deal with my own DM. That gives them wiggle room to go through there and pick stuff apart. Like, I'm going to pick that off. Okay, she said she don't have the money, but she said that she just got a paycheck. Okay, so then can she kind of wiggle around there and still kind of maybe give me $5 out of that paycheck? I just told you, no, I ain't got the money. I mean, I ain't got no money to spare or to share with you. That's it. So, then when you say no, that don't give them anything to kind of follow up with it. It means the case is closed, the door is closed. We ain't going on further with this. Ain't going to be no banter going back and forth. It's the end, okay? So that's just like Judge Judy when she's talking about, now out, get out, bye. No, this it. I don't want to hear anymore. Your case is dismissed. You see her take her little gavel, her robe, and her paperwork and her folders, and she walking out the door. So that's what you got to understand with the no. And when you have the domination issues, it is very hard, especially on top of that when you're empathic, because you can feel behind you saying no, you can feel that little brain thinking, you can feel that little emotions going at the same time. And for us, doing this assertiveness is extremely hard to do, because we like, but I could tell. Or you think of spirituality, okay, me saying no. I was watching God Answered. I don't usually watch that show, and the man was talking about they had on there about karma, and how it is as far as like you saying bad karma, good karma. And this guy was on there, and his wife had died. He had found a lottery ticket. Let me back up. He found a lottery ticket, and as soon as he found the lottery ticket that was on the floor, he was going to go spin it or turn it in for himself. So when he did that, his wife had gotten to I think she got into an accident or something. She had fatally died from the accident. So he attributed him finding that lottery ticket, about to go cash it in, with his wife dying. So he said, I created bad karma. So he was going all around the show trying to find the rightful person who had owned the actual lottery ticket, because he's felt that he had to make what was wrong made right. He was in a law firm or something, and his firm was about to go down, was about to close, and his brother was like, we need the lottery ticket, go spend the lottery ticket, and go turn it in, because we need it. Forget it, you trying to find somebody that you ain't never gonna find, let it go. So the brother was like, no, don't do that. He said, because I really want to find this person, and if you do that, I'm not gonna speak to you ever in life. And so he's like, that's going to break us up. So long story short, they did find the person who had the lottery ticket. Thank God they went to the house. The person had pretty much, it worked, actually found out it was the secretary that worked for them. They went to the house to give her the lottery ticket, saying that they found through the dash cam of the policeman that she was the one who had bought that lottery ticket that day. Went to the house. Thank God they found that she had a brain aneurysm. She was found flat on the floor, face down. They took her to the hospital, and the time when they took her to the hospital, the expiration date of turning in the money for the lottery ticket had expired. Okay, and so that right there was talking about how you're creating karma. So my thing is, he told his brother, he didn't really want to tell his brother no. He told the guy to go on early, to go on ahead and give him the ticket, because he didn't want to. But at the same time, if he did that, he knew he would be upset with him. My thing is, a lot of times, some of us, it's just, I know it's a story, but my thing is, we feel, some of us, that if we do that and we say no, we're creating some bad karma on ourselves, and oh my God, it's going to come back to us, because we're supposed to be here to help. We're supposed to be light workers, some of us, and if we say no, oh my God, what's the consequences of me saying no? And us being empathic. I feel they need it. I turn them down. I turn my back. Am I really being light worker or Christ-like with that? And so I'm just saying this, how overactive crown chakra person would be thinking about the whole situation. But no, again, assertiveness involves being able to initiate action, take risks, accomplish goals, and move forward in your life. Some of this stuff of you having this domination also causes you not to be able to move forward, especially in you doing your light work or in your mission, or going ahead and saying, yes, I want to do this twin flame journey. Some of us are still having the dialogue or the default setting that our parents put into us about us not being able to trust who we are and our values. And this goes back again to this domination. So this all plays not just in relationships, but it also plays as far as us moving forward and going on our journey. Okay, so assertiveness can also involve exerting power to take care of others or to achieve what you think is right and best in given situation. It can involve assuming powerful or responsible role in a group or organization. And that goes on to just what I said about that. Us as light workers, as I seen in one video, light workers means really shining the light within ourselves to get all that darkness and shadow work and inner wounds that we had to do, childhood wounds that we had to deal with, so we could take that same light and shine it out on others and say, here, this is what I done. This is what I did to get rid of the darkness within myself. And so that's why we have to be able to conquer and get over this domination wound that we have, so we could be able to practice assertiveness in the world. Okay, keep in mind, assertiveness involves doing the things without needing to be aggressive. Okay, so to kind of watch it, like don't be a Medea talk about I'm gonna get you before I get got. Controlling, rigid, judgmental, or otherwise extreme. Assertiveness is naturally integrates with cooperation, so you are open to other people's needs and opinions without giving up you. Okay, so the rebellion pattern. We talked about this in exploitation. That came up. This is coming back up again in domination. This means I'm just again doing whatever I want to. I'm not cooperating with everybody else. I'm defenses against people who are in authority. So a lot of times these people don't like the boss talk to them. They maybe use the excuse, I don't like to be micromanaged. Okay, it might not even be micromanaged, or you might find themselves being jumping from job to job to job. I got a person friend that's like that, and I was like, girl, it ain't them. You going from job to job to job, and it's the same thing. The boss saying the same thing. You came in late, so they have to kind of release you. You can't always tell them I'm gonna come in when the hell I feel like I come in with, and talk about, well, look at you, you coming in late. They the boss. So yeah, so she kept on documenting you and docking you on your time and putting in your file that you being insubordinate to her, and then she fired you. I don't really understand why you in shock. So I had a friend like that, and I was like, really? Okay. So this would be like really pretty much the rebel pattern of that. That's a good example of somebody who's doing that. They don't like to be dominated, want to control everybody else. So they're pretty much defiant. I'm trying to see. You feel like you may also react with defiance when you feel like you're being intruded upon or smothered. Why? That goes back to stemming back to the mom issues or the dad issues, parent being very smothering of you, overprotective. So the rebellion comes out in that way too. And so you like to play devil's advocate a lot of times, like, yeah, okay, but now let's look at it at this point of view. And you almost automatically argue the opposite side of any viewpoint that is that is put forward. That sounds like my DM. This automatic, like, really? Okay, so I say tomato and you say tomato, and I say potato and you say potato. Let's call the whole thing off. You kind of get to the point that you're understanding that if it's productive to be on the other side of it and show other points of view, that's fine. But if you're just doing it just to be saying, I'm just not going to go with the current. I see like the card that says you deserve love, and you're going against current views of waters. I see it down at the bottom. That really doesn't benefit you. It's really working against you. It's probably even making people start to isolate against you because you don't seem like you're always going to be cooperative. And we need that on this journey. I mean, it's okay for us to have our own kind of passive least resistance. However, at the same time, you still got to be able to say, okay, I see your point, I see my point, and we could agree to disagree. But not just like, oh, my point stands and what you saying is silly. It don't make no sense. Now you're going into judgmental. So when someone is overly controlling, can you respond to them in a way that will be most effective in getting them to change? Or do you tend to get hostile or dogmatically dig in your heels? Even if you are justified in fighting back, do you do this in the most effective way to get what you really want? Or do you engage in a power play just for the sake of rebelling? See, that's what I was talking about. See, and that's why I say sometimes I do see that in him. So cooperation capacity. Cooperation involves the ability to be receptive and work well with others. So you are open to others, people's ideas and desires while not ignoring your own. This is why I said you've got to, when you got the rebellion pattern, you got to be able to hold the cooperation capacity as well. You can empower other people to contribute their skills to a project. You can follow someone else's lead when appropriate, and you can take the lead yourself if that is what is needed. So you can facilitate other people working together, and this is very important. So when someone has a greater knowledge and expertise in one area, you can follow them and learn from them while still retaining your power to disagree or opt out. And I just talked about that. So when you have a person that's, again, this domination because they hear their parent telling them what to do, or when to do it, how to do it, and then they grow up older and they like, heck, I ain't gonna be this. I'm gonna start exhibiting this rebellion pattern thing here. You've got to reverse that. And I talked about that early in the exploitation thing as far as You got to start showing cooperation. You got to start practicing. That's how you get rid of that. Like, okay, if I'm disagreeing with what the boss is it because I honestly feel like this is for the greater good or make an advancement or this is effective and success for the company, or am I saying this because this is coming from a place of ego? Okay. Also, the domination brings in controlling patterns. So if you have the controlling pattern, you may need to get your way or be in charge of people and situation. You may frame situations as power struggles or opportunities in order to come out on top. You may appear to be bossy, so demanding or feel entitled with a sense that everything revolves around you. You may be blind to other people's needs, and you may gravitate toward and excel in competitive situations. When you are interacting with a group of people, you often try to be the one in charge. You may turn decision making into a competition to see who wins rather than a group effort to come up with the best choice. I talked about that in the last video I did about one of the teachers called herself kind of helping out another teacher. The other teacher, because she didn't understand how to do in her presentation, but she's trying to do the best that she could. She kept on struggling, saying, I need help, but she actually didn't need help. And so then when the teacher stepped in to try to help her out, she went in the back. Teacher went to ask her a question. She started bawling, crying in front of us, saying, she didn't give really any words. She was just saying, I heard her mumble before she went to her seat. I guess I'm moving too slow for you all. So, and then that was it. And then next thing we know, she asked the question, the other teacher asked, am I doing this right? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing for this piece? And you supposed to enter in this date, something. And what she say that for? We look back there, she was crying. Someone might could say maybe she was dealing with the teacher that took over. She could have just went and been patient, let the other teacher go on ahead and just fumble and just add in to her presentation from her seat rather than take it over. We don't know what it is, so that could be also viewed as controlling pattern as well. Another way she could have looked at it for more of a cooperation standpoint was just like I said, just chimed in on the lady's presentation, tell her what to exactly hit and press on the presentation as far as what she's doing on the computer in the overhead instead of just kind of taking over. Okay, so that is something you got to kind of, again, gauge yourself. You could tell when it's ego. It's like, I could do this better than this. Okay, I'm just going to take over. So that would be like, for example, I would say like Jupiter 1111. Okay, she's not doing the presentation right. So while I'm in the Sunshine Lounge, I'm just going to kind of conduct my own thing. I'm going to get my cards out and I'm going to jump ahead to me going ahead and showing how domination shows up in love. Okie dokie. Needle on the record. Wait a second. Now that's your domination showing up. Now where maybe that it came from, I don't know. Maybe she was a child. Just using an example that her mom, she was trying to do something as a little girl, and the mom just said, "Oh, you're just not doing this right, Jupiter 1111. I got this." And so she just took over, and there was something, maybe a project that she really took pride when she was a little girl, and then so now when she growed up, now fast forward now, it's just like when people just not doing things right, I'm just going to take over. I'm just going to do my thing here in the Sunshine Lounge because I know I can do it better. Okay, so that is a way of someone showing control. I know that's totally not you. I can hear you say, that is totally not me. I hear you, Jupiter 1111, but that's just an example of how they would do that. So some controlling patterns would come up in this would be as far as domination, would be bossy people, indecisive, overconfident, weak leaders, ignorant people, not really knowing, but trying to say what they saying is the truth. Men, women, people, that's interesting they put that. People who have power over me, my children, my parents. This is how they would view friends, co-workers, clients, and people I am close to. All of these things might be viewed as a way of somebody who has a controlling pattern would see everything else in other people, or they might even see this in themselves. Okay. Now this is when you talk about domination here. This is something in which really, when I looked into this more deeper, I would say if you had this, you're going to have to get some outside help. You're going to have to, like they say, who wants to be a millionaire? You're going to have to dial in a professional with this if you are actually showing and exhibiting, and this sounds like you. And I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of times, a domination person has a rebellion thing. Probably after a while, they start doing some of this work themselves. After a while, they're going to say, this ain't working. That's all right. What I'm doing is working fine. The ego start kicking in. And I did what she said. I did what Divine Sunshine said on, Divine Use Souls 11, she said. And I did it for a couple of days. I don't see no change. That's it. I'm going back to what I know. Okay. That's the problem in that. You need somebody who's going to be accountability, that's going to be on top of you, such as Sophia Charles's David or Kathy D, that say, okay, I hear you. I can hear Kathy say, okay, I hear you. Now, have you maybe thought about thinking about it as this way? Let's try it this way. Giving you some other strategies, because they're going to automatically see that some things that they have done is not working, and they're looking for that instant gratification, okay? Or that inner voice of that mother is taking over. Okay, this is not working, I know what's best for you, because a lot of times that's what we are. We're walking around with this inner tape playing of our parents, if they're coming from that domination voice. Okay, so in this workbook I have, in the activity book, we talk about the 5 stages of controlling patterns and what you should do in order to kind of help deal with that. So exploring the control patterns and its underlying dynamics. See, that's why you would need a professional, because they say deal with that maybe 15 to 60 minutes. 2, understanding the childhood origins of your controlling patterns. Where is it coming from? 15 to 16 minutes, and possibly trying to heal them. And then this is the stages that you got to go into in order to heal this. Exploring the cooperation capacity, like, really finding out what ways I am not cooperating in life. Is it with myself? Is it with other people on the job? Is it with my family members? Is it with either my DM or my DF? Dealing with that, and then working through the fear of other motivations behind your controlling patterns. Why do I feel like the teacher jumped up and took over the presentation, or somebody else in the Sunshine Lounge is saying, okay, she ain't moving fast enough, I got this, let me pull out my cards and start reading folks in the Sunshine Lounge. Okie dokie. So, what is that behind that? Okay, that kind of, again, goes back to that time when I was trying to do a coloring book and color with my mom, and my mom said I wasn't coloring right, and I was coloring outside the lines, and she snatched my coloring book and she started coloring for me. Okay, that's put into my head, is like, I can't good enough, and next time when that happens, I'm going to take over. I'm going to do my own thing, So that goes to that. And then setting up a practice to activate the cooperation capacity, which again, and instead of the controlling pattern, which is to go back through there again and say, cooperate. I'm not being exploited. To me, domination and exploitation go hand in hand. Also, the judgment goes along with this. That's why it's almost like a tree branch, how everything kind of stems and connects with others. That's why sometimes you need a professional to go in there and kind of unravel and unpack these things, because it's not just one thing. This one thing leads to something else. The other thing stems and branches off into something else, and the other thing stems off and branches off into something else as well. Okay. Other patterns that can be associated with the wound is the angry pattern. I can get angry in order to avoid feeling the pain of the wound. Okay, so the domination is like, I'm just not going to deal with it. Or you ain't doing what I want you to do. This reminds me of what my mom did with me in the coloring book. I'm just going to get angry. I ain't going to hit nobody. And now I'm going to go into straight rebellion. The judgmental pattern, again, we talked about that. I can become judgmental in order to avoid feeling the pain of a wound. So instead of me just dealing with it and saying, like the teacher went back there and cried, maybe she was dealing with a judgmental wound and saying, they think I'm slow. They think I ain't moving fast enough. Okay, that wasn't it. So you protect yourself and giving that as an excuse. Instead of sitting there and really saying, oh, this teacher is really trying to help me. I did say about 5 or 6 times in my presentation, I didn't know what I was doing. And he is actually a person who's answering the call. I should not feel a certain way or be all up in my feelings because somebody stepped up to the call, okay? Or the foggy pattern, we talked about that, where you spaced out like, I don't understand what's going on. Instead of you checking in, you check out. Instead of dealing with the controlling pattern. And then it's also finding out that with this domination, you have intimacy. Your intimacy avoid pattern. I can avoid closeness in order to keep myself from being wounded again, or to keep from being vulnerable and feeling the pain of a wound. So you're like, nah, if I get into a relationship with somebody, I'm gonna be vulnerable, and then that person's gonna have control over my feelings, and I'm just not gonna do that. And then most of the time, I would say I would pick up more so the DM, tapping into this pattern. You do have divine feminines, they do, but I see more so of the divine masculines doing this because of maybe domination from their parent. The mother was smothering or overprotective, or was overbearing and critical of them, and so a lot of times they fall into this. It's like, no, ain't nobody gonna get close to me. Or maybe they might have been, I picked this up, been in a relationship before. The person was very overcritical of them, saying they didn't do this right, do that right, and so the next person to come along, which happen to be the divine feminine, and then now they close off, and they're not they're afraid of being vulnerable with you because that might happen again. Okay, foggy thing, I already talked about that. I'm gonna skip that. The foggy pattern again, checking in, not being in it, falling asleep. Let me go back, just make sure. Confused, blank, absent-minded. You might lose the thread of a conversation or not be aware of what is happening in the moment on purpose, because that's still kind of like dominating the situation. In more extreme cases, it can cause complete dissociation where you feel like you have left your body, or that's why I say you check in, you don't check out, or you don't remember things you did. So the foggy pattern often arises when you are trying to for yourself, making it hard to remember the thread of your work, or to access a part of you. Okay, and so the foggy pattern is transformed by the clarity capacity. So it is really being present in the moment. Clarity about your experience enables you to know what is going on in the moment, track it. It supports your ability to follow your own personal thread story. Clarity involves the ability to think clearly and stay focused on a chain of thought. It enables you to make good decisions by being able to distinguish between the facts and wishes, realities and projections. Clarity means being able to perceive another person's emotional state and distinguish it from your own. It helps you to understand the impact of external influences on your emotional and physical state. So will you being foggy again? That's check out. That's still having control. It's like, oh, I didn't hear what you said. Can you repeat it? Oh, girl, I checked in. Now, what did you just say? That's still kind of controlling of the situation. And you having clarity about the situation, to me, is being present. Like, okay, let me just go ahead and get the hits or whatever it is that's going on in this situation, instead of using this as a defense mechanism by me saying I'm not there. Again, that's, you use this foggy pattern majority of the time when you don't want to be assertive. Like, oh, I didn't hear. I got like a teacher on my team. Like, I didn't understand the directions, and we like, girl, I didn't explain it to you. Now, I mean, really, I don't really understand it. I don't really get it. And it's just like, okay, now I know what you're doing. Now you're using that as a scapegoat so you could get out of the situation so you don't be responsible. And next thing you know, it's like, yeah, girl, I didn't want to take it because I really didn't understand. Like, no, you didn't, saying you ain't really understanding. You just didn't really want to do it. You didn't want to be in charge of it. And that was a way as an excuse for you to not be present in the moment as far as practicing your assertiveness and you being able to, okay, thank you. For you to be able to really practice and see what you are made up of. So you just kind of just check yourself out and remove yourself from the situation. Domination would also play a part of that as well. Now let's move on to what is, oh Lord, I gotta put that over. What is the guilt wound? So a guilt wound is I was repeatedly made to feel guilty about things I did, and now I can't forgive myself. If you have the guilt wound, this may come from your family castigating you from violating their moral beliefs. To me, it's almost like you becoming the scapegoat of your family. And so, or you may have grown up in a family where you where guilt was commonly used as a way to influence people. Your naturally way of being might go against the moral norms of your culture or subculture. So, a lot of times, like, no, that's not what we're going to do. You supposed to, we got to arrange marriage. You supposed to marry so-and-so by the age of 19. That's what it is. That's family tradition. I don't know why you don't want to marry this person. You like, no, this person is not my twin flame. This is not what God directed me to do, and they keep on guilting you into it. I think her name is Sabrina. Oh God, she has another twin flame thing, and she's talking about her DM was from another culture. I believe he was Indian, and he had a fixed arranged marriage, and he went on ahead and married the other young lady, although he knew that she was his twin flame, but he had to go ahead and follow suit with what the cultures of his family had. So I think about this. So this is, again, the parents keep on making them feel guilty for their own, trying to make their own actions. Parents may have blamed you for his or her emotional problems. Like in the movie Precious. If it wasn't for you, you wouldn't have made my man gone. My man was here, but my man was interested in you, and so you made my man gone. So that would be a good a prime example of a guilt wound that would be inflicted in it, because they were saying, because of you, I could have maybe have been somebody. I quit college. I dropped out of college. I could have been somebody, but now I'm working from paycheck to paycheck. It's because of your behind. They're putting that. So that's a guilt. So you may have hurt people and you were never forgiven. That's another thing too. So what do you need to heal? You need to heal to forgive yourself for things you have done when appropriate. All of us have done things like that. The guilt of maybe even in past relationships, maybe you want to call it off, or maybe you the one that had cheated, and you're still kind of living with that guilt, and you bring that on to other relationships, on and on. So how do we heal the guilt? We practice self-soothing. Self-soothing helps. If pain, shame, fear, sadness, and grief is coming up, if you feel like crying, your heart is pounding, your stomach is upset, or you are seeing upsetting images, it is helpful to self-soothe yourself. With that, I'm picking up also to do some heart chakra things. I know Jupiter 1111 did something yesterday about the 1111 portal. It was very good as far as you doing chakra clearing thing. I would say that would be something I would add on to my arsenal, as to also doing self-soothing about this guilt thing. When you ain't even thinking about it, it pops up and you're like, oh my God, where the hell that came from? Especially when you're trying to, if you have guilt of letting someone go, and you want to cheated in there, and you trying to move on into other relationships, you kind of take that with you, and you keep on saying, oh, I don't want to do the same thing like I did when I was with Ted, and those things kind of begin play out over again. Or it could be the opposite. They cheated on you, you feel guilty about it. Maybe it was something I had did that caused them to go on ahead and do that, and so now you carrying on that pattern into other things. So learning how to self is a good thing. Okay, these are some things we talked about. I talked about how you can soothing an inner child part. With that, way I'm as time. Okay, pretty much wrapping it up. Some things that you could chant to yourself. I just run through it, like some acceptance things. I accept you just the way you are. So like Precious in the movie, she would probably need to do that, because her mom would constantly tell her that all the time. You ain't no good. You call her all different kinds of derogatory names. You made my man be with you, lay with you, things like that. So you need to come back and do that. She needs to come up with acceptance. So she would say this every day: I accept you just the way you are. She needs to, another thing is the validation statement that you would say to yourself, to your inner child. You are a good person, because again, like I say, you might say, I cheated on a person, I knew better, I'm a good person, I deserve love, I am loving, I am a embodiment of love. Love comes to me with ease. It does not matter about what I did with my past. I start off with a clean slate today, and talking to the little girl. You are good. You are a good person. You are loved. I love you, and then do things to that statement. Also, encouragement. You can do it, because again, going to the domination, that thing, or also with the guilt, that you're saying, I can't do it. My mom told me all the time I wasn't smart enough, or, that ain't the way we do things in our family. You marry who we said you gonna marry. And so you got to kind of keep on telling yourself, encourage yourself, I can do this. I don't need to go or ahead with family standards and go by what my family say I must do. I can break culture in these, and whatever they have stated through history, what we have done as a family, I can't break that. I'm not that. Or like, I think this brings me to, as far as like family, passing on the baton is certain things. Like, our family, we always been family drug addicts. You gonna be a drug addict too, because that's just how family is. So, you have to kind of go into that, or you're not going to mount into anything because your daddy wasn't this. And, they saying statements like this thing and making you guilt trip about that. If it wasn't for you, you made things, whatever. I'm not even going in more into that. So you have to keep on telling yourself you can do it. Support. I am standing behind you 100%. Sometimes you have to tell that little girl behind you, whatever we set forth what we want to do, I got your back. I got you, Let's do this. Okay, show appreciation. You are very precious to me. You have to say that to the little child, and you have to say that to yourself as well. So you kind of keep on, when you feel the pain coming up and this guilt and things like that, you have to continuously say this to yourself when these things come up. Okay, that's how you soothe the inner child. So other ways that you can soothe yourself, you can like take bubble baths. Again, find your bliss. Do things of that nature. Do quiet walks in the woods, listening to some relaxing music, meditate, talk with a friend, get you somebody accountability person that you could talk to be able to soothe, watch some videos, some things that make you laugh, something, ask the inner child as well, what things they want to do. Maybe they want to say, I want to make cookies. They'll say, okay, or I want to get some ice cream, or I want to go watch some kid movies on Netflix. Hey, do that, those things that can soothe. If you are at work, I gave you some things to do at work, especially about guilt and things that you can do as well. Take a break. Change your environment. If you're sitting, stand. If you are at your desk, get up and move around. Have you a cup of tea for a few more minutes in a private bathroom. You can make a difference. Like I say, have a cup of tea, or I have a few minutes in the private bathroom. Like, it's like I gotta take me a time out real quick. If you are with people, see if you can be alone. Sometimes I know Patricia Mcnealy had told me that, because I remember in my classroom it was getting very heavy, and I had to pretty much find ways to get away, because the kids were so much needing and zapping into my energy. It was really getting pretty bad. And so the next following year, I said, I'm going to do something different. So she told me like I could wear like a jacket or bring a change of clothing. So that way it made me feel like I was changing like layers and changing who I was. So if I had a jacket on in the morning, like after I had lunch, I take the jacket off, and that was like peeling off to me like a layer of doing that. She told me to go outside and for lunch sometimes. And sometimes even if I wasn't eating out, just go out, change the scenery, get with the environment. A lot of times I do it alone time at work. Like I close the door and that's it. Take you 3 cleansing breaths, which restart your system. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and out for 4 counts, and stay empty for 4 counts. Those are some things that you can do as well. I gave you some things and some searches. You could go on YouTube as well. Nurturing the Wounded Inner Child. Some meditations that you could do as well. Also, if this hit you today and you say, I got to go a little bit more deeper, go to Kathy D for coaching. She's still offering for 1 hour, and it's valuable. $45. You can email her at pineapplefishlifecoach@gmail.com, and she will send you a PayPal link for that. It's very, I know I was speaking to this person at first. I was like, yeah, that's nice. I would do it on my own. I do rogue. I don't need to talk to anybody. I'm kind of embarrassed by some things. But then when you listen and you talk to her and she validates you about some of the things that's going on with you, she throws back to you and you hear yourself actually talking and saying what you're saying. It really helps you to create that healing process to do that. I would say also when you do that, you know, you're going to have to kind of go back again to get a retouch or a little kind of refresher too as well, like what I've done. But again, this is a starting point. You got to kind of invest and let your body and your spirit and mind and everything in alignment know you're serious about making these changes, especially getting into 2020. We live in the vision, and we cannot continuously do the same things that we're doing in order to make the change. Like they said, doing the same things and expecting some kind of change, that's called insanity. That's not sanity. Okay. Other things. Oh, I thought I put that on. I didn't. Okay. Also, here I am. I'm coming. I did an hour. I did good. Now we're going to get into the card portion of it. And let's see how is these things that we're having. How are they showing up? Domination and guilt in our journey collectively. Woohoo! Hello, everybody. Okie dokie. So now let's get into the domination. I don't see nothing. Chat. Nobody's talking. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you grew up into that? Yeah, I see aspects of it. That guilt one to me looks like that's, yes, it's a little bit of parenting, and then I can see a little bit of how that's showing up as now in adult too as well. Because I think about when I was talking about my catalyst twin, or my first sweetheart. He claimed that I cheated on him or whatever. He let go, but whatever. On that part, I take my ownership on. I did do what I did because it was long distance college, and so a part of me semi kind of still is hanging on and lingering on to that as well. So that's an issue of guilt that I have to kind of deal with, and I have to soothe that college. It wouldn't be a child person. It would be more the college student in me to say, okay, you did what you did. That was it. He really wasn't the one. We see that now. He's not the one. And so we got to kind of let that go. And karmically, whatever you're thinking, say, this is getting me back while I'm having a hard time on this journey because of what I did with him. It has nothing to do together is the same. Those are totally different. Okay. All right. So let me get into this. Clear. Let's see. How is this domination? Let's see. And guilt. Let's do domination. They're kind of pretty much the same. How's this all showing up? What is the things that we got to work on? Whoa. Gotcha. Ooh. Ah. Me likey. Okay, so that makes sense. Sacrifice, immortal, and free will. So when we're talking about the sacrifice, that goes back to the domination, the people pleasing. Not really you taking something. To me, this swan here was the most precious thing that she was. Just like I said about me and the teachers and spending my last dime and not having a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. And I'm like, but I want to please them. I let them know that I'm part of their team, because I think I just started out and I was new to the team, and I was like third grade teacher, and I was like really trying to do that, but at the same time I was sacrificing myself in the process. That's the same thing that what we're doing with this domination and guilt, how it's showing up, is that we're really sacrificing things that we want, like maybe love, maybe actually starting this twin flame journey or this divine union souls journey, maybe also be starting this light work work, which is doing work with ourselves, but then also turning it out and now starting to reach out and help others, like maybe starting a channel or doing the blog or doing. I always think about one of my clients saying that she wanted to do, I need to check in with her, had wanted to do be a DJ with music, and she wanted to do inspiration music and do mixes through that. I mean, you know, if you think about that domination wound again, you got that constantly that mother or that father talking to you. You can't do this. You're not good enough. You remember you flashing back to that coloring book where they snatched it and they took it back and said, you don't know how to do it. I told you not to color within the color outside the lines. Give me that book. And they start to do it themselves, and you keep on flashing back to that moment. It's like the universe is taking that whatever you want to do as far as helping on your twin flame journey for others, and you picture the universe saying you're not good enough, or you going on YouTube and the subscribers doing thumbs down, or people saying, oh, she don't know what she talk about, she rambling a lot, she talk too much, she do too much singing for me, and I ain't getting on that, you know, I'm unsubscribing and seeing things like that, and just saying, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and just do it because of the domination or the guilt. You know, maybe this not the time. You know, I done did a lot. I don't know how I think I'm be able to do this because I done did a lot of things. How am I supposed to be helping out other people? And I done did some things myself. I don't know what I could be able to contribute and give out to the world. That's another thing. Immortal. Again, the consuming family, pressures of peers. Again, how is the outside going to view this? Again, the domination. Family in your ear about certain things and ways you're supposed to be doing. You know, what is this twin flame journey? What's this all about? You got this person, but they stuck up in a third party situation, but you talk about you still in love. I got you. Still in love. I know she said she had to go on, so I can't see you. Kathy D. Still is you still listening to what they said about you not being good enough, and you thinking about the situation about one of the lady I told you, I can't remember, I think it's Sabrina or something like that, is saying that her DM ended up, he had to go ahead and follow through suit with the arranged marriage, although she knew and they both knew that they were twins flames. Okay, the peer pressures of peers, listening to other people. So you really, some of us are still listening to that inner voice, that not the good one, but the one is the voice of the default setting that your parent put in, and it's playing a part as far as you feeling guilty about, as far as you feeling dominated and not good enough. So that plays out there. So it makes you like your DM or your divine counterpart is in the back, but it keeps on making you look at the cup as if it's empty. Because you keep on saying, I ain't got nothing to either, you don't have nothing to offer, or whatever they doing, it ain't good enough. It's not filling your cup. Okay? Then you also have free will. So sovereignty, independence, free spirit. Again, that's pretty much a given there because of this domination and this guilt. You're not being your sovereign self, which is coming there with this clean slate, not thinking about what other kind of messages and things that's being recorded by parents, person, place, or things, or karmic situations that has played a part on you, that has made you feel like you don't have this freedom with that. And so it's messing with you having this free spirit to be able to venture out and to also going ahead and to be this light worker into the world, or to continue on with this journey because of this instant replay. I'm looking at her looking like, she's looking at that crown, which the crown with me would be the thing of being divine, and saying, I don't know about this. She kind of looking up at the crown and saying, I don't know. Is this really the route I want to go? I always say heavy is the crown when you have, because there's responsibilities that go along with that, and you pretty much kind of maybe ask yourself, am I ready for this? Because to me, again, some of us might be looking at this and saying this is like another controlling. This is dominating me again, and something about this is making me feel about my mom or dad or something like this. So, you know, some of us don't feel like we even control even being on this journey as far as picking being in this twin flame journey too. So you feel in the controlling aspect about it You know, you want to kind of really rebel against it. That's coming back out again as well and showing up through this. Feeling guilty that you're special and you're unique. Maybe when you were growing up and your parents had seen this or your family had seen this and they again made you the scapegoat and they kind of kept on pouncing on you about that. Oh, you so sensitive. Oh, you so this. And so that is another thing that's coming out as well from this. So these are the three aspects that we got to deal with, okay? Let's see, what are you hiding because of this guilt and wound? Clear. Oh, this is, oh my God, I love it. Forgetting oneself. You putting still people pleasing, putting everybody's needs in front of you, and you putting everybody's whatever they think should be happening with you, or who you are, who you should identify with. You keep on hearing their voice, and you can't really hear you very clear. I think about this as the mask. You're masking your own emotions. Okay, you might feel that you're also vulnerable, and this is all happening in your analytical, your DM space, which is again is the way you're thinking. So this is very strong. Again, I would say again, get the crown chakra together going here because this is overactive. This activity thing, you might be acting one way. This looks like a very warrior-esque kind of like picture here, but there's also things that is actually going on behind the scenes here that you seem like you're very vulnerable with. Look like you're kind of hiding, excuse me, some things here, but you're also masking your emotions as well. And so we got to remember to put our feelings, put us first. Remember, I told you no is a complete sentence. You don't need to follow it up with anything else. This is something that you got to kind of keep in mind as well. So you're forgetting yourself. This is what you're hiding. You probably seem like you're a martyr to everybody else. I'm out here. And if it goes too long, it does that every time. Okay, yeah, I'm back. When you at the Greater Food Depository, and you doing all this great work and stuff, and it's all about everybody else, but it's not you. So keep that in mind. I'm just going up to the or whatever, just a half an hour on this one. If we could go short, that's fine too, because I know how he acts. Okay, so now I don't need to do that one. Let's see here. So what do we need to surrender? Clear. Oh, that came right on out there. So we need to surrender to complete healing. Open fully to the loving, compassionate forces. There we go. Let's go this way. Interference. Okay. All right. Surrender to complete healing. Open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. So we need to really do the work so that can happen. Surrender your ego. Cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. Practice compassion. Practice the soothing techniques that I talked about, taking the time out so you can stop this ego from doing this extra work and overtime, telling you certain things that are really not true, and that is really feeding into the illusions about what's going on, especially from what's going on in your head. So it say cultivate the heart. So again, to me, that would say do the heart chakra work as well. And then surrender your need to always be right. That again goes back to the rebellion thing that we're talking about, or the controlling. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationship. So if we do that, kind of see other people's point of view. We agree to disagree. Don't be a rebel without a cause. Be cooperative. Practice cooperation. This goes back to what I talked about. Practice cooperation if this is something that you are dealing with. Okay. Divine. Okay, I'll do that. What do we have to work as far as in our divinity? Whoa, Jesus Christ. All right. And we talked about that. Even in the thing, we got to get really true power here. I know it's the Lilith card. Some of us is not a fan of the Lilith. I understand that. However, to me, I look behind that. The Lilith stands for also in standing in the midst of adversity. Everybody not on your team, especially when the people are criticizing you, saying you're supposed to be doing X, Y, Z from your mom or your father or whoever child reared you, or people on the outside, and you have now this guilt. To me, this represents standing in this domination issues and this guilt here. But learning how to take these things to temptation, which the snake reminds me of the Garden of Eden, where he's talking about what's the difference between good and bad. And you having this apple and having this knowledge here about some things. Understanding that even though you're vulnerable in the midst of it, how to be able to stand in your power in the midst of all of this that's going on. And we talked about that, especially when you talk about this domination. Being assertive, okay? Being assertive in the midst of all this other kind of darkness that's going on. Understanding to say no, understanding to stand up for your rights in a form of opinion. Be all right next time when you go into that work meeting that you said, let me find out something that I can stand that you contribute. So instead, when they turn it over, you say, Divine Sunshine, how do you feel? You ain't sitting there talking about whatever you like, whatever you want. No, you ain't going into no TI then. You going into say, well, you know what? I agree with everything everybody else said, but I also seen that maybe we can probably do it X, Y, and Z. Okay? I'm going to tell you one thing. When you do actually do that, and I don't do too much talking. I know I do talking on the show, but not too much here and out there. A lot of times people will really listen to you, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they know that you don't speak up and you don't talk that much. And whenever you do say, it's of value. See, a lot of people that do a lot of talking at the meetings that you go at them things. Most time, I ain't even got to be at your work meeting. Most time, people tired of hearing them. No, too, when they stand and say, oh, here come Ted. Ted about to say something. I wish Ted sit his ass down. I wish, here we go. And we going for this long 15-minute rant about what happened. And then we sitting at the meeting talking about, now, what the hell was Ted talking about? When you do able to speak up, they will listen to you. It's going to be very impactful and powerful that you speak up. And they're like, oh, okay. And that's going to build you some encouragement from that point on, too. They say, okay, it does have value. Like some of them, and might be somebody sitting there that was scared to say it, and you gave voice to it, and it's like, oh my God, Divine Sunshine sure is right. We sure should do this differently, because I see this can happen if we do X, Y, and Z. So kind of keep that in mind. Next time when you go into your meeting or something you have to talk to, challenge yourself to say, you know what? I'm going to start off my usual way when I say, I agree. Yes, I agree. However, we could maybe try and do it X, Y, Z. That's going to be kind of helpful, and that's going to start you from a little bit of being able to assert yourself. And then before you know it, you'll be saying, oh, I can speak. People listen to me. I'm like E.F. Hutton. People be quiet when I say things, so keep that things in mind as well when you're doing it. So I'm giving you a homework assignment for you to go ahead and practice some kind of way how you can be able to be assertive in a meeting or something else. I agree with you. However, follow it up with that. Okay. How does this domination and guilt show up in our love? Okay. In our love area. Clear. Relationships with others. I've seen it, but if it is, you can come back up again. Past life relationships. Okay. Again, that does not surprise me. Because again, what's past life relationships? Relationships with your mom. Like I said, about my first love. Those things are kind of coming back again. Okay? Or you can even take it all the way back as to if you do believe in past lives, actually past lives. Those things are actually bleeding through and coming through on to this life. Clear. As well. And that's something that you got to, so maybe it's guilty, maybe like I had did, like with me. Let me put that. Okay, thank you. Like with me, I know that I was in past life for Ireland, and I left my family because somebody told me a lie. And for that point on, I didn't take care of my family responsibilities. And so now I kind of feel like with that guilt when it comes to family, like I got to really take care of family and be there, even if it's to the point that it's self-sacrificing too. So that's something that kind of plays out. So now, got some clarifiers, which means why. So when you're dealing with this here, it's helping you to with dealing with the domination and the guilt, and what's you have known each other before, which means dealing with this relationship, and some of these things are bringing up even in your present time some things, some themes, and some cues and some triggers that you saying, okay, I done been through this before. This showing up again. This domination showing up again. This guilt is showing up again. Is helping you to really understand how to deal with the why. So you're getting some answers to this. And this is why this is now showing up now for you to go back and to retrace your steps and looking to see about how did domination and how did guilt play a part in my past to help me to understand, to get some enlightenment now, these aha moments, and to stand on a new platform as far as who I am. So again, like I say, practice some of this assertiveness, this comfort, self-soothing of self. Because you want to go to the finish line. You want to win this race. Okay, and I see here you got like the masculine face in the background. So to be, I mean, as far as in your thinking, that's really in your background of everything that you're doing as well. And then it's time to go, because really right now emotionally where you are, it's like it's really say another one bites the dust. Another one down and another one down and another one bites dust. It's a, hey, gonna get you too. Another one bites dust. So you really want to say all that stuff needs to bite the dust. You need to leave them in your way there, because this in the past is not self-serving you in the now. Okay, and so so keep that always in mind there emotionally, because you're going to a path that you don't know where you're actually going. But however, this is where your emotions really, your divine feminine self or your emotional self said, it's time for us to leave here emotionally. It's time to check out, because we didn't stay here long enough, and it's really time for us to go. Okay? That one. Okay, and then, oh, beautiful. And the last one. Let's see what our inner child wants to say to ourselves. Okay, clear. What does the inner child want to say to us about this domination and guilt? Simple and to the point. Choose love. You always have a choice as to what you should do, and when you're choosing it, you should always choose love. Very good. Okay. So get in touch with going back, choosing love, even in how you assert yourself. Choosing love as to what the voice that you're listening to. Is it actually helping to propel you into your better or your greater version of yourself? Keep those things in mind. And even what you're dealing with the divine counterpart. Right now, I really just feel like the focus is really just with this is getting you together with this domination and this guilt. This is the foundation of everything else that's going on, and this everything that's appearing in your life, world, and affairs is nothing but a reflection of what's going on within you. So we got to kind of really get this together and under control here. Okay, and so this within everything, choose to love yourself. Okay, choose to love yourself, and choose to love the people in your world, even the ones in the past that did what they did. Love them too as well. And then some of you might can go and heal that, or maybe you might have to love them at a distance, whichever way you have to do that. And then also choosing to love the DM too. Okay, that is the end of my 11 of my inner healing the inner child workshop. Thank you so very much for joining me. I hope this helps you as far as domination. Give me a little minutes to kind of get the activity book up to speed and kind of finish out and kind of do some editorial things that I got to do to it. But otherwise, that it will be up and running on divineUnisouls11.co. Also, don't forget about the event. I see you plugging in Jupiter 1111 for the April 11th, which is what is the 411, getting the information about tools and resources and things that you have. Okay, it's not it's not available. I don't know what's happening with that. You could go to I had put that it's $ Divine Sunshine. I have to put Divine Sunshine. Ooh, 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 ooh. Let me go back. Page there. Hold on. Hold down. I'm coming. Hold on. I'm coming. Don't you ever. Okay. $ Divine Sunshine 11. That's on the cash. I don't know if you see that. Okay. That's on that. You can't see it. That is on the Cash app or the Square. And on PayPal, just take it all day. PayPal. Yeah, I don't know why that's off. Okay, take it all day to do that. Okay, but he don't want to sign me in on that one. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Okay. Divine Twin Soul 11. That is it, because I couldn't change the name. So that's Divine Twin Soul 11. Okay. For the workshops, it's going to be very good. You got it? Okay, thank you. Workshops are going to be I'm very excited about it. But hey, April will be here before we know it. Once we do the 11th, after December, it's going to go after that point. I'm trying to see what is anything else. Let me put up my cards. Yeah, I will go on the DivineYourSouls11.co. Just send love and light. I keep on getting this message to the divine masculines. They're kind of, some of them are going through some things. I said that on my thing earlier. I can feel it. That's why I'm kind of like a little bit, because I can feel myself anchoring for him as well. But they're going through some things. They're, getting to the point that they're cocooning and about to transform into what their own divinity as well. And so for some of them, this is kind of a little hard for them as well. But some of them taking this stride, but some of them is going down, kicking and screaming as they go down like, nah, we'll not go down easily. They're doing the rebellion pattern as well. And so that is, I feel that very strongly, even while I'm talking to you all, that let's kind of pray and send out healing love. Make sure you do your chakra again. What Jupiter 1111 did the other day was very good. I did that before I got on here, helping to clear up the third eye, the heart, and the root chakra. Those are the main ones, and I think they've came up with several times, even in some readings that I had came up with too. That had to be exactly addressed as well. Please go back into her playlist where she has, especially with this one, whoever has the domination and the guilt. If you're having that as well, I would say definitely go into her chakra clearing. Is free. I have it on my playlist, and she has on hers about free chakra clearings as well. That needs to be revisited, because to calm down all that chatter that's going on in your head, because it's very strong, especially with that. So you need to clear that out for yourself, and definitely for, especially with the DMs going through what they're doing, you're going to have to clear out those, especially the third eye, so they can be able to see where they're going. Because like I said, they're going through it. They're in the middle of a storm right now. Some of them that's really ready to go on ahead for the next move on this journey. And so we just got to really anchor ourselves down, because it's almost feeling like the Wizard of Oz. And we're going around, especially with this 1111 portal going on, this newness. Some of them are going to be able to adjust, and some of them are kind of like, whatever. So we're just going to anchor down and be steadfast, rooted ourselves. Yeah, there are. Yes, there are so many. That's what I was saying. Because when I was doing, I was like, wait a second, didn't I review this already? I'm like, I'm like a person like, okay, reteach. So that means I gotta reteach this over again. Like I said, definitely nice exploitation for today's day stems right back to exploitation. Uh with that. Yeah, oh, that's good. That's good that you're doing your chakra clearing daily. Yes, 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 yes. Adding that in there as well. Really, I know I've been really working with my heart. It's been really good. That heart meditation that I even had, even on Minds, as well. The heart to heart meditation, which really helps me to go in and to really see what's going on in the heart for the on my divine feminine side, and what's going on for the heart for my divine masculine side. It really helps me to kind of really see what's actively going on between the two. And so I do that daily, all the time, to really get in touch and to ground and root, and then also to shield for what's going on with the DM and myself. Like I said, that exercise is just to kind of do a check-in, energy check-in, to see what's going on with the two of you, not to use it into the manipulate. Because at the first time you use it, like if you don't know how to kind of visualize yourself, you just use it for visualization for that to get you started. But then afterwards, um, you use that to be able to really be able to check in. After a while, it'll go on automatic. You don't have to even start it off with the way I start off the meditation. You just drop down and you can see what's going on in the heart for you. Open up the door, and then you can go over there and see what's in the heart for them as well. Very good meditation. I would add that in too. Yeah, yeah, I would add that into your, that's, you can see that on Divine Unisouls 11.co. Go in there, that's meditation, heart to heart meditation. Just $5. It's just $5 holler. Ain't gonna kill you or whatever like that. But I would add that on to my chakra thing as well. And I think it's another thing that I've been adding on into my practice is now really understanding what the meaning of the 1111 is, understanding how to use all of the elements together as well, which would be using air, water, uh, earth, air, water. Why am I missing air, water, earth, and fire? Why would I forget that? And I'm a fire sign. Get on out of here. Okay, so I try to make sure that I use that into my Hey, you're welcome. I try to use that into my practice as well. How I can incorporate that in my meditation, where I get in touch with those elements. Because you got to remember that again too, as Sophia Charles said, that that's what 1111 stands for. Is all of those things. So the water will be your emotions, that, and finding ways to kind of address that in your meditation. Air would be the spirituality, which air also in cards also means mind, conflict, getting your mental thing together along with that spirituality too, the way you're thinking. Earth, getting grounded and rooted. That's why I was talking about April Williams, sorry. I think it's in 11. In there is that it's very important that you get grounded with where you are. We keep forgetting that. I can't really stipulate that. And that came to me as a channel message, that how we've got to remember that a lot of times we like to stay up here because of the hurt or not wanting. We got to stay grounded and rooted with where we are as well. So making sure you bring that into your practice. And fire represents action, which is forward moving, doing some action. And that's what Tim Green was talking about today. We can't be passive. We at the point, we got 2 months in left of 2019 and moving into 2020. We got to actively be doing something. Either it's working the shadow work, the inner child work, mission work, spirituality, the meditation, chakra clearing, whatever kind of work. But you got to start doing that. Okay. All right. That is the end. Oh, I see 99. 99 bottles of beer. No, I'm just playing. We're not on the beer thing. So thank you for joining me on this. Again, salute off to every veterans that are out there. If you have served and you're a twin flame, thank you for protecting, saying yes to protecting and serving our country, the physical, the 3D thing. So I thank you so very much for coming and being here with me. And again, like instant replay and look back again, edit and see what things that you are in need of to get in touch with in the tools. Go to Divine Unisouls 11.co to be able to do that. Book a reading, book in energy clearing with April Williams. Go and also get Kathy D for $45. If you say I need some help to go beyond this, the video is not going to just get it. I need some really help to dig in to unearth some things. Do that as well. Do you get your chakra clearing or from the chakra queen from Jupiter 1111? Get all that stuff. And by the time you get all that stuff together, you should be a new creature at the end of it. So until next time, stay uplifted, stay ascended, stay motivated. Namaste, namago. Love you. Goodbye.